question bi a wopɛ sɛ wobusa wobɛtumi apagya wo nsa. Na yɛn ayɛ no bɛyɛ ankosi bɛyɛ 40 no. And the teachers will come in with today's lesson. What
Yeah.
question?
And yes, actually, in year the other time. So we hope that people have been able to. Amatias here. Yes, so we are hoping everyone has been able to do one or two stuff. The difficulty will be finding how the experience went. Then you can raise up your hand and then. Okay, as Boone. Sika.
Yeah, okay, Ita. You said I
Okay.
can if I could
Yeah,
drive, won't you know? You
Matthias.
take it over. Okay.
Okay.
Bye.
Are you sure? Good evening, no.
Yeah, evening.
The culture, experience that can person share.
Okay.
From last week, Sunday, teachings now, my,
Mm-hmm.
I really went through it. And this week, I can say it's been good. Me hear me stillness, I experienced the theta state, very well.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to a point there. And say Mr. Would die. And I had a dream. I had a dream. Dream, was about it should be a my family, your experience. And it's like it's giving me an answer to situation. I think that was on Monday. Since Monday, Ebedu, and then yeah, I guess with the Twitter state, but I mean, and PA. So I'm just hoping, say, when I continue doing it, one day, maybe.
Okay.
So yes,
So a question: do you
yeah.
feel the float? Do you reach the flotation state?
Yes, please. For the first time, I did. I did.
Okay.
I couldn't feel myself. I couldn't feel my body.
Okay. And then again, were you able to sense the feeling of flotation while you were lying down?
I felt it's I mean, who it's a jakakra,
Okay.
a jakakra. Yes,
Okay.
that was for the first 2 days, but subsequent days, I didn't feel that again.
Okay.
Monday, Tuesday, I felt that flotation, no kakra. It wasn't that much. It was just something little, I think.
Okay. Okay. That is very nice.
Yes,
That's very nice.
yes,
So yeah. So keep on doing it then.
yes,
And then
please.
the mental repetition also.
If I try me a
Okay.
mental repetition for the for all of them, but like the thing is that because I wanted to go out, that's what I was doing in my mind. But I didn't go out, but I had a dream about something else. That's what I'm saying, like family issue be
Yeah. Yeah.
I even forgot about. Like it was far away from my intention. It was far
Don't worry.
away.
It's all fine. It's all fine. It's all fine.
Okay.
Alright.
So I just
Yeah.
wanted to share that. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Yeah. Right. So keep it up. So
Yes,
the
please.
buy
Thank
beginner,
you.
I'll buy grad on change. So
If I try,
yeah. So keep it up.
thank
Okay.
you.
Okay. Pamcho, yeah, tremo. Hey, moanye. There's no hands up. Okay. Mary One Love.
Pacho, good evening.
Yeah.
Yeah. Me Pacho, pesa me bisa question bi. Pacho buti
Okay.
minka.
Yeah, Tom Kapa, bit makasa.
Me Pacho, yeah me pese me sometimes me pese me hu to say ye fie. I want to see the foundation and I said the esi wɔ yɛ fie. Ɔte sɛ ana power ana energy a ɛrule wɔ me papa fie. So several times amayɛ me interested sɛ mpɛ sɛ mekɔ hɔ, mpɛ sɛ mehu deɛ ɛwɔ hɔ. Meyɛ a mayɛ saa ɛnyɛ yie. But one day meba wɔ fie ɛna me sɛ okay. pese me ko omo complaining something concerning me ba no na say pese me ko na me ni me ba no ko kasa enu die me ye no enche ye kra na makodi na me hu say magina me ba no nche nso ma ye say pese me ko fi ho enye ye be me ba
Ebi
no
so a.
ye
Ebi so na fi no one so eh.
okay enu die me new die me new
So did there. Yes, oh, chia there as a man we do. So ebi na be any horse, so there's nothing to see.
okay
And I always
okay
expect to say be go, but look or cook.
I'm just
I say
oh,
be
what's
go.
if you know, SCBB so, and I say if you know, there is
Oh,
energy. You know.
that you know, it might be a concept. Yeah, I don't think say if you be anyway. Say be an
Okay,
entity is not one why you refi who and answer with that, but so there's nothing to find out.
okay, okay,
To church and chair, you know, you don't have to worry yourself. Why?
okay, okay, but you.
Okay.
And back also, baby, I met you na me pay dan high. Nti mekɔhuu baako mekɔhuu dan baako na mesi okay mepɛ hɔnom but mepɛ sɛ mekɔhu the environment during projection mepɛ sɛ mekɔ hɔnom mepɛ sɛ mekɔhu fie no whether it is a good place to stay anaa ɛna meyɛɛ nti mekɔduru hɔ no sɛ ɛhɔ nyinaa yɛ black na mekɔduru hɔ na mebisa ɔmo sɛ mepɛ dan baako wɔ hɔ mekɔtuu obi wɔ hɔ na papa nso okay fie no yɛ ne dea but deɛ wɔyɛ sisi no wɔde ama nkurɔfoɔ bi but baako wɔ hɔ mepɛ deɛ a ɔbɛyɛ no ama me na mesi yo na wɔde me kɔɔ saa dan no a ɔsɛ ɔbɛsiesie mu ama me no mekɔ na ɔde pan kakraka bi big heavy bed esi hɔ ɔse wei deɛ sɛ woba na wode wo mattress nko ara na ɛbɛto so o. na mesi yo na ɔsɛ okay for now no mema no 2000 na ɔnkura mu ɔnyɛ inside no yie ma me na mesi yo mate na mesa ba back nti sɛdeɛ ɛhɔ no yɛ black no menim sɛ yɛ there is any meaning to it mehu sɛ fie hɔ nyinaa yɛ black
Now,
mehu
do you have what is your instinct says?
but me so I'm like I do not feel any bad even though mantimi asa nkɔ hɔ mankɔ hɔ biom deɛ but me I do not feel anything bad and I
Yeah,
say
so trust your instincts. Right.
okay you but you me that's it.
Okay. Elizabeth.
Good evening.
Yeah, even you know.
And then my experience be me nim say that but me breathing exercise no. And I be die. Me die na me go fie o isuo bi mu. Nti isuo na asa me dwale isuo no. And me hu crocodile. Ke akɛse o. Omo wɔ isuo no but me hu first one no. Na ese bi so say agba we dey say esi echi nipa o. But me be omu no I say omu dey me di agoro. I say omu dwale efa me hu. E na me so me dwale. E na omu like omu go rounds wo me hu. E wo nsuo ni mu saa na mani
Okay.
tiye.
Okay. Yeah. So you do want to know say it's a projection or a dream?
No me because na me mada. Me yeah me breathing exercise ni wie no. Me dey mada. Nti we dey me fa say a dream.
Yeah, don't worry. It's like a dream. Meaning it's a type of a projection. So
Okay.
yeah, don't worry. I don't know. Negative bibia nyo why? Say be how say
Okay.
be only crocodile no muja de ni be o ma be chewa na ho be that.
Eh.
Why? Don't worry.
Yeah.
You're all good.
Okay.
Okay. Um Elizabeth Anan.
Abusuafo mpatwa mechiakyia mu nyinaa.
Yeah, so Elizabeth.
Okay, mpatwa say this week my experiences bi a menya na mepɛ sɛ me share.
Okay.
Deɛ di kan no, maybe than me set intention. Instead than much me the question be by my much me maybe set that intention. No. Now say during my practices, no baby I'm copy, you know. Me copy baby to say deep waters. Asepa. And then it felt like a hustle year. This as a we as a hustle year baby a yeti. But many ba me ho so na say nsuo ase na meti. As nsuo wo ho bebree, but as ho ye space nipa te ho. And life was going on in that space, you know. Inti mi hu colors, and as me ni obi kasa nam so o match color way to way. Inti afi many ba me ho so nam say na ifa nam ko pie. Inti na me dwendwen ho say inti under the nsuo saa no so no nipa life goes on. I just say under the sea and the life is going on, and I felt so good
Yeah.
in that situation. You know, honestly, many I said that day me reflecting on that experience. You know, I felt good.
Yeah. So I think no na I'm over catch up. Yeah, so we have the marine, I'm friends of the marine kingdom or whatever they call it. Yeah, so their beings are mostly living underwater. Their planets crown now, they don't live on the surface, they live on the underwater. So normal.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
there are
then I
many
say
many.
so. Okay, me exercise ni we. I say me who images. Although
Yeah.
some kata meaning, I see like images.
Yeah. One thing I'm not also into actually different channels or
Okay.
actually different realm, vibrational frequency of different realms. So you start to see pictures of those places. These pictures are coming from the astral.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Sandra say be who son I'm say I was seeing like images.
Yeah.
I was trying to.
Chance bet is pictures as a who move pictures, but I heard go force on
Really?
a rule. A back a crebit na there will gonna be a movement. To be honest, waiting my moving on a picture. No, so you crowd abuse a woman for movie around talking and doing different stuff, and then you wait my to see movie. Basically, you can call it a remote viewing. You're remotely viewing something while you are not actually there. So
yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Joseph Kwate. Hey, Joseph.
Good evening.
Evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, evening.
Yeah, for sure. My experience, I'm sorry, but me share in
Okay,
Kakra.
Joseph.
With the intentions, could also be like now. My intention was like Astra, and I went to the Astra deck. I saw the Honor. There are so many colors there, and the colors were beautiful. So many, so many. So many, and I was so happy also. And then too, so now me ready about Obi. Like now my Emma, but like I had it by in the form of a dream. So like I went to that community. Now me ready about the person, so whether the person is a good person that I can move with or a bad person. But you say in the dream, no. Minimum was our community. Everybody rejected me, and like even in the dream, no, I was so wretched. Say, like you won't even welcome me. My wretchedness, the person who welcomed me, like I said, oh, okay, like after I said, oh, okay. So all this one I made in the night came in the dream, and I was so happy.
Okay.
And it is kind of kind of see things like so being the so that's the week we maybe Black Panther movie, Black Panther movie part 2, and like I got that understanding. Some things we may feel, so not say by any other community be
Yeah.
fights. Because okay, so that means that they are beings also under.
Yeah.
How they live their life, everything is under the water. They come.
Yeah. Yeah. That is very nice. So yeah,
Have more experience on that. Hello.
okay. Yes, what's our networking number? Okay.
Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you. Okay. Yes, of networking number. So more on person who I just abroad for na you today. Epoase for the marine kingdom Ghana for kana marine epoase inventions were on ade. Obezo who are moving them friend Aquaman. Simple. They were just showing all what is going on there in the advanced technologies and all this sort of stuff in the water. So mom person who go watch Aquaman. You get to see the kingdoms and then what is going on. Dominic, open down so on Senator phone. Anyway, Festina, Festus, But which one is that?
Yeah, good evening.
Yeah, evening.
Okay. Please, I have a question.
Okay, Festina.
Yeah. Okay, so within
Which
the week now, I was about sleeping. I did breathing exercise. Then I was thinking about projection. I'm different die. So me die and it was like I was dreaming, and then I saw say like in a dream. Now me catch on who say I want to project. So by the time I open my eyes, I should see my body.
So you were
Then
conscious.
I open my eyes. Yes.
Then you were projecting.
So
Then
I
you were.
opened my eyes and I was like, okay. So I was like, man, cool. I not knew all that thing and America. Now I was still dreaming. I didn't know. Until so and I was like, oh, no, I thought I was awake and I was saying, oh, man, cool, because I'm not seeing my body. But it was when I woke up and I realized all that side was part of the dream. So I want to know, in a situation like this, is there something to do or?
Yeah. So again, yes, a projection. No, I don't have a perception. Okay. Let me check him. No, be answer. Now,
Okay.
your Friday be thoughts in a way thinking, past tense of thoughts. Thinking. Right. Yeah. So when you start to have a thought about something, see the level of concentration and the thought, it gives that thought a little bit of energy, and that thought starts to become kind of an artificial intelligence, or it have an intelligence on its own. So that is why I can say, oh yeah, a man for a picture to a man for that is the only way the projection should be. So Pierre, it's not necessarily say you have to see your body before you think you are out. It is the awareness you are gonna get everywhere you are. No, anybody say, yeah, you're out of the body. Seeing of the body doesn't really signify you are out or not. It is the awareness you're gonna get outside when you are okay. Because one whole body now you will be copy a copy a pursue. And then all of a sudden you become aware that, oh, okay, I'm actually on a post. I'm okay. So that very moment you realize you are out of the body. Because if you are in the body, there's no possible way you could do all this sort of stuff. So you start to become aware of where you are. You see? So when you have a perception that you only have to see your body before you're gonna know you're out, then you're gonna be disappointed. Again, you don't have to see your body before you're out. You're gonna realize you're out. Realizing you are out is just a realization that you're actually out of the body, not the body seeing that signifies it. Okay. So again, I don't know, say if the dream, you were conscious of it or what happened, but once what I say, okay, say in a dream, no, over solid was this over solid in the physical?
Yes, I was thinking I was going to wake up in the physical, but I didn't. When I woke up, no, I was still dreaming.
So you consciously take that decision in a dream? Because then you were actually conscious that you were dreaming. That was where you were saying, okay, when I waked up in a physical, as you see my physical body. Because as I'm kind of foreseen what I say. Hello.
Yes. Pacha.
Okay.
Hello,
So anyway,
Pacha
to
Matthias.
take yeah. So don't worry. Oh dear, just continue to do your practice. Okay. Why? You be
Okay.
able. But
Okay.
dreams too is
Okay.
part of projections, right?
Okay.
Yeah. So you just keep it up, Madam. Let me say that. Keep it up. Practice it.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Ohima Gloria. Ohima Gloria. Adia blue do for more fansa bosso. Ababi sem fansa bosso.
Good evening.
Yeah, evening.
Epamcho, me here Clarence kakra bi. Me
Okay.
obi a me bo atetemben asin bi saa no no mo ye wo yiase no saa noise no me bo pa. Na we na me ko bo program bi o Legon na abrantie bi hia me. Na ofa me number. Later no ne kasa na oye ni say oyo obi a waware na owokola 4 na bebi obeko bia no ese afi no baba behia na yere na ohu me no sign bi a eche se na yere na wako bebi miensa 4 a ya che ne baba behia na yere no eye me na wehia no iti me pamutwa wo me pe a little clearance kakra na ye will be say sa wo because of anamon we a addition we a yesua we no so obi ba no can sa asem bi say e kire wo a what are you supposed to do? I mean, is it also part of spirituality? No, say soulmate in this. I don't know. Say, yeah, guy, the person tell me, say, you know what? Now, what now for no? And then the soulmate. Now, pen a wish ya me. I am the soulmate. It's what am I supposed to do? Thank you.
Okay, question. Oh, checking on open, open.
Oh, many kasa like a tossum, but me and kasa me share your maybe a kukona. Me, I'm not sure. Said this guy really know what he's talking about because
Yeah,
anka obia, anka obia, unyoma enko ye, ena yesu beshia oyere, na weshia oyere na. Menye sure says ani paruka ni bedi agro. If you know says ani pa na weshia no, na mono so a unyoma beko ye a. And a
Well,
normal circumstance, that this is the normal rational thinking. But spirituality aspect, the way I somebody can let me say there's something wrong somewhere.
yeah. I'm sorry they wait to my and trick is the other down. So they because of be shame, you just the one away me money that number, kind of.
Oh,
But
where the what many places so and I was some to Nigeria or Nigeria so or ma confirm me. It's me one of friend me, what is my mother's
no,
name? Me mami so me mami di man no so it has been confirmed that I'm the woman.
no.
It's in fact and
No. On him mind. He forcing you to into it. And yes or no kind of who baby into tension and also the two. I mean all this
okay.
okay, you are believing all this because of the idea of the soulmates, whatever it is, or more soulmates go on. That idea
Yes, that
is
idea of soulmate,
so that it's not valid. He said there will be
Bibi
so.
eni was say soulmate.
Oh no. Everyone is a mate of your cousin. What is even a mate? Again, a mate, yes, sir. So no, because the person is your schoolmate. So your soulmate one will be on a level of the soul when maybe on a certain planet or certain soul family, whatever they call it. It's all in a less life, I can call you my soulmate because we were having an experience somewhere together. The idea of the soulmate, is
Oh,
it come from Egyptian stuff where they did anyway, we were saying but send American love there, although there, it doesn't have to be as a man for people develop concepts and ideas about way which young pana opena. It's not about soulmate or whatever. I am more vibe a kama, no matter my entire working, you see. So
Okay.
I don't know, sir. All cast will call spiritual for honor. A man who says any as I was all Jimmy 2 1 I don't know, because love they have to come natural. I am common, I affection. You have that deeper understanding about yourself. It has nothing to do with the spiritual one whining or they know cantan when you so say because of the spiritual what we changing out to do 2 1. No.
Okay.
So
Okay.
only known to her, boss Ubra, and your home in Nigeria said, okay, does you fit only anything come out a match? Do you feel that so between the number bra? We need to come down to earth to base on reality.
And me patrol, worry with 4 children. And all yes, I really want to know, say, when said, no man, yes, then so person mean understanding fast soulmate, soulmate, can come the no that I pa. Oh, wait, soulmate,
Yeah, you actually
Auntie, that soulmate, word it's just a new age of you.
Yeah, a new age movement.
It's not really.
What?
Yeah, Auntie, go ahead.
Yeah. It's your friend be new age spirituality. I'm gonna do all these ideas about into public people faces to confuse the masses.
Okay.
Yeah, to be too many will be warriors or more promos. I will do baby now. All this idea no be high soulmate into the public. Nipa no pen and tiase no komodi enye honhom. You see, so at the end, you want to defeat the idea of the soulmate. So next wawuma wejai obetim grad ya dad as well or just to have your way with you. Keke. It might be obetim issue that trick is no na moko hen or ko ha no moko hwehwe na afi no be na all this sort of stuff. You see, that the idea of numerologists, nyoma no na we Sagittarius na we hwan do intimi wale way, all this sort of ideas.
Okay.
You see, at the root of existence, it is our thoughts that create our reality. It when I make you believe we are Sagittarius until whatever many now so believe in that idea, it's gonna make you it's gonna create that reality for you. You see, it's as simple as it takes. I think among four doesn't really understand the new age spirituality for no any or more ideas or more into the public. And you wait and I'm friends vegetarian now you wait and I love and light and a soulmate and a soul family and a soul wine. Meaning it's just a new age spirituality. It's just way to confuse people to get them stuck in this matrix. You see? So it is not valid. Because at the root of the whole stuff, we all come from the same source. So everyone is a mate, everyone is one. We all have the spark within us. So how do you have to choose somebody Sunday or your mate that the others are not? Where you all come from, we are all souls. So everyone is a soulmate of everybody. Right? And just specific person about Kubina. I don't know. Yeah, woman tafu and I don't know. Moko wale wo. But past life being my Bahama person is how wale be man. Some of us you've been reincarnating. And go for a while raw money and there you'll be reincarnating still you don't really you see the people come your enemies. But, so these ideas, I think that we need to come out with this new age spirituality for no. More ideas on nobody at tonight air confusion among for baby. And people believe it though. So what you need to do is again, or shall be to the number bra. Unless they be also panel because of maybe and some no can who maybe at the wet about. And one I am a mama for Kwama because we are soulmates and also cast or call home almost one also while and all this sort of stuff. And that's what I could get to the ones that power force. Where Jai will be, where Johnny heroes, whatever happened.
But your own Jai no still. On Jai.
Mamma, you were
what do you grow?
Okay.
Sorry to say, but don't go feed into that. Now, even now,
Mommy,
Anna, won't say na. They tell me bisa question, you know. It's like I was like, this spirituality style we are missing at you know. This concept of we soulmate, they are meant for each other. It's like it's you know none person making sa clearance no ye say. Sa dear word nankasa soulmate nankasa no. Ya de bi eye adwuma na say nkofo bi na omudi word na bubo mu na. Yankasa ya confused with that. And the man bisa question.
And I pepe na welcome.
You know, I know I can.
Okay.
Number joy
Okay,
for now.
Asi baby a me tisisi a.
Mbajan.
Emi wo Greater Accra kpo nkatama so.
Are you okay? You and your money for your brother.
Mate.
Well, let's go that way. Any kind of home for being maybe
I know.
Say with your boys. Anyway,
Mate.
okay.
Okay.
Just be careful now. I'm not that spiritual in that.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. One by I had Dominic. Open down, Sabam say. What's that for? Dominic.
Good evening. Good evening.
Yeah, evening.
Well, experience. I mean, I know. It's me. When I question about who na so woman. Me projection back na me no. As me kushia nkofo bi ma omo kire me ade ya yehwe ya na omo kire me how me see I me projection no. You know, me omo me eye me no ma it was really successful. So in the dream na we ni mo no na many aji pa say metimi because now I had to say me can say some person the one person can be speeding near my up no nkwa ni sa nti na mani agi nti no ni je ni mu a mani gi na the mu ya ne say I think say me meet you krampo ma okra wo ese me I don't know but ma o mama mu I say in we conversation any je na mani agi nti no minim say ni je ni mu a the mu ya say masaba and this is one second one ba ko so no ye I had to say me now me person me who are there me if he me pass away if he so me call na I had to say me call me no mu kudi di nkoma you know komo ni mu kwa eche ya nsa na me busa na omo kire me so aha baby a me wono mo bo ho din kire me na ma dwen ba me ho so ye wie na me yes me kono and me kono na say baby a me nam no me nam bush baby because na one ye kura pa nti me nam bush no na afei me yira kakra na me bisa obi se on kyerɛ me kwan nti no nipa ne kyerɛ me kwan no na ade sɛ kwan na wa kyerɛ me na kwan no wa and looking at baby a ɔno wa kyerɛ me na mɛfa hɔ akɔ abɛsi main road mu na ma ba no na yɛ mmeden so me ma de sɛ mɛfa baabi foforɔ nti baabi a mefaeɛ no na ayɛ sɛ makɔ pie bi pɔ tintintin bi so a mehwɛ fam no a fam no wa nti no deɛ mu yɛ sɛ me nenam bush no mu a na sɛ me nan baako nka ayɛ sɛ me nan baako no kɔ ebesi ade sɛ bɛtumi ama wabɛte ahwe fam nti mehuuyɛ no na mehu sɛ hɔ no na ɛwɔ ade distance no mu wɔ paa na meyɛ sɛ mɛsa afa baabi foforɔ nti mefa no hɔ no nso na ɛwɔ nso wa na ewei no mu no na meyɛ sɛ ma megyaa me ho so megyaa me ho ara no na ayɛ sɛ mabɛtɔ nwura no so nti meso nwura no mu ara na mede bɛsii ɛfam ɛwɔ bush no mu mesii mu na mehu sɛ menam wei no na mehu sɛ nsuo bi wɔ me left side bebree na ɛhɔ no fa no bɛyɛ den na mehu sɛ fie baako nso wɔ right na meyɛ sɛ mefa fie no na makɔ akɔbisa na nkɔmɔ akyerɛ me kwan na makɔ na medu hɔ metuu m'ani na mehu n'ani bɔɔ nkrama kɛseɛ mmienu so nti no ayɛ sɛ mehu kakra ɛka me na baako na ogyina anim na baako wɔ anim na baako nso wɔ akyire nti no mehuuɛ no na kae me no already no ɔsɛ yɛstarte wei foforɔ no so medumi bi a na medumi bi mekɔhyia a biribi saa na nnipa no gyina nkrama no so nkrama mmienu saa ɔmo gyina nkrama no akyi nti nipa no mma me sign sɛ mayɛ te sɛ biribi wɔ hɔ a wɔsɛ menkɔ nipa no hɔ nti mekɔ no have to pass through nkrama no mmienu ntam meyɛ sɛ mekɔ no two no nyinaa ɔmo ataake me no sɛ maame baaba ɔmo ataake me na ɛhɔ na m'ani tie me ayɛ sɛ na fear these two no nyinaa fear ɛba me mu kakra nti de mu ya ne sɛ masa aba so na ayɛ sɛ medwene ho I don't know menim sɛ me mu no there's that fear no da so wɔ me mu a sɛ Yeah, to me because now me back that's what now me doing. Say I was saying meeting me call because I know say it's me and then I was say it's back.
Yeah, so
And
you need to work on your fears.
okay.
Okay.
And one thing is that if you no if you maybe I'm no and crama bi wo the next 2 house and crama bi wo why no mu nyina na wo you know but I never come mama no notice no about 12 me start here about 12 o'clock. Oh, you feel on crama me no and yeah no mu pie a mo ne crama no be ko ntokwa bi a three no so me yeah the same thing and me chance dream ho me share that antia say papa said
Yeah, just show your house and your place, right? You are very fine.
she don't know say I don't know say
Oh, okay. Okay. Just visualize a white light surrounding your house and your
okay
to protect.
okay
You are very fine.
okay. Okay, my chance. No, because yeah, na I have me do mo you know, is there be an about three ko normally ana three na.
Ah. So when I am a amount of 2 to 5 year munjena.
Uh,
Almost so anyway.
okay,
Okay.
me that's
Okay.
yeah, no,
Okay.
I do ba me, but nice and best me yes sure say.
Yeah. So just protect yourself. Sure, just protect yourself. And then you're ever talking about fear. Why? And then how to deal with
Okay,
it. Don't worry.
me
Okay.
that's.
Noble.
And I'm question ba ko na na be say me be say one minim say bu afia na say we could meet bi a no to me my back but I say ya na normally me dey no menya experience na I enche na masa back I don't know to minim say.
Don't worry. A learning process. Right.
Okay.
You just keep on practice. So you begin and and kakra. I bet
Okay.
kakra that ground there not to
Uh,
be able to stay out of your body for a very long time. Don't worry.
okay. That's
Okay. Noble Kwame. Kwame Noble.
Pay for me, Chamo.
Yeah, yeah, also Mr. Kwame.
A wiki, some experiences. I don't want to go much into details. I had some dreams and some lucid dreams too. But me person me call more about me exercise. You know, until me starting say me exercise, breathing exercise. You know, initially me starting now me right side of me, you know, and me feel sensation be all. It's the more I may I call right side, you know, and the more I continue doing it, you know, sensation now be get out or middle, I say me scar middle.
Yeah.
Anytime say me breathing exercise, now me visualization as well. Me feel this sensational. And sometimes when I say like when you guys are teaching, I'm listening, and I'm call YouTube now some of the videos, and I'm feeling sensational. It's in draw say me me visualization. You know. I may share blue cycle now. I sometimes see something like a writing in it, but me apart from the aura, no, the blue no like a faded bisa, and the writing also the same color. And the drum the same. My dreams can be writing no inside, no red, so that I can read it out. So because it's the same color, but me, no now my dream I have something like red. It's not the color. You start at a different color, but all of a sudden we say paper, white paper, and then I buy the place that I put the white paper to visualize now. We say oh now damn yellow. I saw yellow, and the only different thing I was in the yellow was the blue cycle. May do that point and now may set your alarm me for 15 minutes. That's the time they do it. So alarm me went off. So I was kind of like trying to go back, and I started the kakra. So I just left it like that.
Yeah, that is very nice. So keep it up, and then keep doing the visualization to open your mind's eye and your third eye up. Right. Then after that,
copy that. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, the sensation you hear is the middle. That is where the third eye is. I think we were talking about the other time. So it's beginning to activate.
Okay.
Especially when you feel it in the middle of the head, in your skull. That is where it actually is. So Yeah, keep it up. Keep it up.
Okay, thank you. And one more thing. Last minute, okay, say you get a friend is saying forgot his name.
Speaker.
The seeker to get with
Oh,
me, but Sly has not gotten with me. So
okay. I'll work on that.
okay, all right, thank you, sir.
Okay.
All right.
Mama Rose. Hey. Mama Rose. Mama Rose. Okay. Nama's kitchen. But I'm allowed with Magasa. Are you blue ball for more Fransa Bosomai?
abusuafoɔ mesrɛ mo mo ho te sɛn o
Bibia Boko, your answer.
nyame adom me deɛ meyare yɛ nti no afei na me ho atɔ me amaba
Okay.
na mebisa quick question
Okay.
me question is sɛ wonua nsuo hyɛ na wode kuru wo ti wode egu bucket mu na wode ntoma kata ho kuru wo ti a o forehead etimi wo so anaa
Also, this one here then. Pacho.
menya cold na bɛɛ 1 month ni eti meyɛ ankɔ ɛna menua nsuo hyɛ na mede nkyene egum na mede egu bucket mu na mehehele nti mede ntoma kuru me titi sɛnea wopu no ba meyɛ sɛ mepu bia me forehead yi ɛso bɛyɛ dendenden saa kosi sɛ mewie na sɛ medware wie kura na sɛ mewɔ hɔ a na ɛso still no me forehead no so ɛyɛ dendenden ba sɛ ɛda me mpu no ɛwɔ hɔ a ɛnyɛ me saa
Yeah.
enti na mebisa sɛ epu no nso so timi ma o forehead no ɛwɔ so anaa
Not of I'm sure. Now, what third eye, what do you call it? Woman also, it doesn't mean it have any coloration with your third eye. Okay. It might not be. Saying a kind of your third eye, no, a new woman so you're in the center of your skull. Okay. So saying can you trim inside there is fine, but what it is that when the center of the head, or in your skull, maybe your pineal gland one, when it start to activate or it start to get more energy, sir. The significance, either so betting or trim on a betting or pam and our tico and our momasu. Okay. So I don't really know why it is happening. That maybe it have any coloration about so the guilty so
because no me mama no me mama ni timi wo so sa even though say me hu say me starting point na year west previously no ɛwɔ hɔ a na me mama no so awosoa na agyae ɛwosoa na agyae but na me ɛnyɛ ade a na me yɛ yi but me nya code yi deɛ ɛyɛ constant.
Yeah, it might be different issues with maybe that. So when I say you are feeling uncomfortable, like you can just stop it or better the way and so send kufa any idea ember. But what I say?
Yo, me a visualization ene. Me ye no ena me fa mu dae. Me hu ye se me kuta nkwala mienu. Ena ye kɔ baabi a ye kɔ no na me hye da nim ho. Eti ye kɔ saa na me behu sisters choose so mo so fa saa kwan na so na me ka kyom so mo nkyerɛ ye kwan. Na mo so okay nti omo kɔ na edi omachi. Ba na me nam no me hwɛ fam a baabi ye nam na se nsuo river nketenkete wɔ hɔ nti. Ye twitwe nsuo ni saa ɛna ye de kɔ. Emu ana me ba girl binya na me na mani tie. Nti me hu sɛ ɛyɛ dream o sɛ so a visualization na me ye ne na me di hu saa.
Yeah. It might be a dream. But saying visualization, the more it's basically open your your third, but I call it the mind's eye. So the more you visualize idea, the more that mind's eye start to open. Okay. And it opens, the more you can see, know, and basically made them a friend that your psychic center it will train him up inside your head. And when you do visualization, a boama that a hono I get more light for it to function properly. Okay. So just keep on doing the visuals. Okay, doing the visualizations. And then as emotion say there, you are gonna get this sort of stuff. It's normal. Like okata when you know in something, sometimes it's your subconscious mind giving you those random experiences. But the more now you're practicing, you start to gain control over the whole situation. But what?
Okay.
Yeah, so
Matias, that's
a high learning process. But then so you're gonna do the practice different. People out die, I don't pay baby. People out die, I don't who ways. The ones who are winning control. The ones who are control kakla bina. What's up back to the body? A learning process. So in kakran now be no babinya ground. So practice makes man perfect, as they always say. You see. So the more you practice it, the more you know how to go about when it happens and how are you you're going to control or maneuver yourself around. But just what I say.
Matias, that's it.
Nti we no wapampam when it's umuma so sorry na say enye year na you can just say a disturb a obetimi die na angofa problem bi am. Why?
Yo, that's it.
Okay. Joseph Kwati akasa. Me allow Mama Rose. Mama Rose mbacho ho. Okay. I think says she's not around. Okay, Joseph Abba. Okay, Mama Rose up in there. Okay. Now you move on to the topic. Mama Rose.
Hello.
Yeah.
Sure, good evening. Thank you.
Very good.
And then me pamucho a question kakra bi na na kyerɛ m adwene sɛ
Okay.
mepacho na mebisa biribi kakra fa sɛ sɛ yɛwɔ yɛ physical body no a mabehu sɛ yɛ tirinwi ɛyɛ yɛ antenna yi connected to ewiem ne sɛ ɛbɛyɛ a yɛbɛnya downloads ne nneɛma no na afei no mepacho mebisa sɛ mefiri tribe a sɛ nipa no firi mu a ɔmo de nipa no tirinwi ne ne mmɔwerɛ ɛkɔ ekuro no so. Pacho na mebisa sɛ saa no ɛyɛ saa na ɛwɔ nsunsuanso bi ɛwɔ soul no so anaasɛ astral bodies anaa soul no ne
Okay.
bodies no bi na ɛwɔ nsunsuanso wɔ so anaa.
Okay. Who are you na?
Ɛdaroma na
Who
asɛm
know
bi
them?
saa ha ma second ɛyi ne sɛ
Yeah,
ɛha
me
m'adwene sɛ
you the
ana mete sɛ capture ebi mu so ebi mu wɔ planet yi so ɔmo nya nwi but if somebody dies they know how to capture the soul into bi ɔde hyɛ biribi mu sɛ ɛbɛyɛ a so ne ntimi nkɔ ne ade na mpatwo ɛno so na medwene sɛ
Okay.
mese ɛyɛ ba ne sɛ na ɔmo tumi yɛ ne saa
Okay.
adaroma
But stop Temenka.
meda ase.
But you're Temenka.
Ita unka.
Okay. So the first one with the soap and the immunity antenna. No? I don't know which antenna called there.
Huh?
Um,
Yeah, you can give her some.
Ama. Okay. So I think that concept too is roaming about really much, especially all Black American for their way style of teaching. You know, those ideas and Black people, Naita, and you know, all these sort of ideas. And they're making people be in what we call the story mode. I think they're going to make a you know. And when you look at more Muslim different Black Americans for the be on teachings, one way. They talk about the divine, one of the divine feminine. They talk about the Black people, you know, we are the highest, so we are all these sort of ideas. And I think people listen to it fine, but again, has always been, and it is. They give us a story, make out feel some extraordinary stuff within us. But again, baby, I wanna because these are all constructed. Some of them are just constructed stories for us to be thinking around these constructed stories, right? And people just say, oh, okay, yeah, this, okay. But still look at where we are as Africans, Black people. If you are the higher soul, then we contain the melanin, whatever they call it, the higher soul or whatever. We are still where we are. Nothing really changes, you see. And Ayana is quite fascinating that they make people play around with these stories for a very long time, but that yielding any results. Just a bunch of stories, we cannot do anything with it. Just an information to just feel our emotionals and all this sort of stuff. Now, according to science, it's also kind of it's a way your body can sense something. It's kind of I'm saying it's an extension of your nervous system or something. And sometimes obu have bibi be na ayi abon say to me also in a different way or kind of yeah. So say utrinini antenna or whatever they call it no. First of all, we need to understand that this body is part of the matrix. Again, it's part of the simulation. We were never this body at begin with. Now, if you want to know who you really are, it's who you are within. It's your consciousness. So, it is your consciousness perceiving all this sort of stuff. We could say through the body or through the sensory perceptions. And according to what we know is that the sensory perception, we have the feeling, the seeing, the touch, the smell, the taste, the hearing. Okay? And it's obedience of utri who see ya. And as obedience of you begin to feel it in your body because it is an extension of your it helps to transmit emotions because it is an externalization of the feelings perception. So obedience of you can feel it going through your body. You see. So so this whole idea, I think so your question was like what they call her now, is it affecting your astral body or is it affecting all this sort of stuff? It's just a symbol, based on or more culture, no, or who knows how you chat the memory, no, it symbolizes the person. I'm going to mean for body now, but my name is at the northern aspects. There was a year what happened where as I was, somebody I know, the same thing. And I'm trying 3 million on the corner. I'm not quite a for that. 3 million way to signify because I'm going to be trying 9 co. I'm going to be trying I'm going to mean 2 in an inco. The only I don't meet in here ever more civilized to symbolize is maybe almost using a more and in 3 me or to the co. That doesn't have say it have some implications be on the soul or the consciousness be a way of life of a people. Say you're in 3 now. Maybe anything found about the name or whatever the culture is, you see way now, it represents that nipa chrono, and then they can use a mamma, make to my mamrena, and then whatever it is to for the say it's more like intermediary. We're going to think about the number based on culture, how they believe and all this sort of stuff. Okay. So Mama Rose, your first question, it has nothing to do with all this sort of stuff. You don't download information from your hair. It's never true. You get information from your psychic center. It is where your information comes through. Okay? And you kind of say be a friendly extrasensory perception. You see, it is only when you're tuned within yourself, okay, and your inner world, and then your psychic center, basically, yes, say your third eye is open, is where you can perceive information from other dimensions. You can know. You start to download it. Remember, all is mind. Everything is within the mind. It is not the body. The body is part of the 3D matrix again. Okay? But again, I think that San America, this teaching is coming from the Black American teachings for an or more. About the black people, need a body known, we are the night and one black, all these sort of ideas. Throw into the public to make us feel some supernatural be and all this sort of stuff. When you go to the Abrofono, they speak something different on the soul level. They talk about consciousness, they talk about the mind. Now you look at how the Hindus, the Buddhists, even the religions use the Buddhists. Let's use the Freemasonry. Yes, use that they understand the mind, know how to control people's mind, know how to silence the mind, know how to remote view, get out of the body using the mind and all this sort of stuff. Okay, get into the deeper aspect, the very nature of our existence. But we come to the black people's teachings, and it's more like an ego trip. And we are the originals, and we are the originators of the planet, and we are this. And me, ego, and things never get done. Because in the sense we have to change your whole side from a very long time, which has yelled nothing. Because to truly understand the very root of your existence is basically understanding the mind, how it works, and how we are going to apply that to better ourselves. Not just saying it in a way of a story to make people feel a certain way, you see. So when I look at the Black American for very much normal teachings now, and they're all on a one trend, you see. And kind of I'm using this to extend on. Me using the question to extend. It's not an any antenna anyway. Okay, your mind, if it's something is an antenna, it is your mind. Your mind is a receiver and a transmitter and a receiver. It is that one that receives information and transmits information. So you need to train the mind, position it itself in a certain way. Because download doesn't come through your body. You download that through the mind. Because all is within the mind. Anyway. So please, there's no 3D anything connected to anything. It's really the mind doing all this sort of stuff. We don't download information from our hair. Okay. It's just an extension of our nervous, memory. I think it's just part of the human physiology, something that has to do with your inner self. We get into the mind. That was the one that receives information and transmit it. And that is what we use to create our reality. Okay. Now your second question is about how souls can be trapped into also be our souls and all this sort of stuff. You don't really capture the soul, really. So the person is still in the body. Whilst you are in this matrix, or whilst you are in this simulation, which is in the 5 levels, we have the physical, astral, causal, mental, etheric. All these are part of the simulation. And this is all called into the astral world. You're not using your soul existing there. You are still in a body called the astral body, which is in the astral world. And that body is made out of electromagnetism. Okay, so electromagnetic, everyone will be able to what electricity or TRT and how magnetism working. Biano can work and affect your bodies, not the soul actually, but the inner bodies and even your physical body too. If you don't capture soul, I think that I am worse in a moment interpretation is that maybe the astral body or the causal body, because the soul is not existing independently in this matrix. It is existing in bodies. The same way our physical body, also the same way you are using in here, a bit more prison. Okay, the same way our also they can capture your astral body because you are now existing in the astral body, so you can be captured in the astral realm. Okay, so that terminology should be able to interpret. Yeah, also I'm differentiating here. It's not the soul, it's the inner bodies in the ear channel because the consciousness is working through the inner bodies, so it can be captured. The real consciousness cannot be captured. You cannot touch it. Mama Rose, I hope so. What I say. Especially 3 million. Why? 3 million. You will say, oh, concept, so you 3 million, and I'm talking about 3 million. All this. And we Sakola, Oko India, Buddhist for we Sakola, no much ones go for any more, Ubegani. All this. Okay, Institute and Abigail, prophetess, but more harm went to Munga and Amotamos. Abigail, Institute.
Wow.
Okay.
Him say, Master Abigail.
Abigail Beccasso, Patrol, prophet. Abigail, another one as I ain't I don't believe you go by or the general Magaza eat a ham your very well. Yeah.
Bankunachino.
Yeah, so what I was saying, I am not, yes, just hold on. But don't mute yourself. I am not sometimes, I wonder, I just say, you see, and you big grow science, and I wait, and I this, and I wait, not quite to hold, no, no control. Because with all this knowledge, or not even knowledge, with all this information, and you have no fruit. But Obi always fear how the mind works. Can be sitting down with a monka, no monka will with the public. Now yeah this, now yeah this, and the divine feminine now, all this sort of ideas where we were never even a feminine or masculine in the first place. And then I am a general one say, can't these people realize this? And now I'm the feminine, then they are the why, because the whole idea to promote the feminist movement stuff in there. Oh, and the divine feminine, and the divine feminine is this, and the divine feminine is fallen, and the masculine. I say no one is a feminine or masculine on the first place. I don't really understand. These are all characters. I have to take it on. Okay, when we come into the matrix, we were never that. So the idea of even identify yourself that you're feminine or masculine is in itself means you've not really understand the game. Again, identify yourself as a black person, as a black people, as an Anunnaki, or I don't know, male. Well, all this is part of the simulation. We were never that. Consciousness is not feminine or masculine or whatever. So the amount through all these concepts into the public and making you think until cannot be, in a mystery. And then they will and I deal with it. Just all lies. Or it's just all none say lies. It's all just an illusion. Because you were never that. No one is ever that on the first place. Your level is to understand and live above or identify yourself as consciousness. On the first place, these are all lower stuff, lower consciousness. These are all in the lower worlds, part of the physical simulation to make you think you are that on the first place. Anyway, Institute, continue. America, I'm a black American for the one.
I didn't really how power.
I'm too much. I'm like, why is this people talking? Because I could see potentialities there. If their so-called spirituality stuff could change and people could see it from other angle. Now, just to understand the mind, thoughts, how it is, how you can manifest. For example, they say the NYK, and Obi Beso Medaye, and Obi Bekan Bichemo, Medayim, and Obi Beso Medaye, and download for baby. Where is the download coming from? Because the download itself is a thought. So, if all powerful is what I say, are you for them, they all can understand and can do it. I can sense thoughts to you, making you think you are getting it from the universe being a demo. But I mean, I may amount. I can create an astral entity and project it into your dream and make it speak with you, make you think that a divine entity being an occasion. So now I'll be to official in a yes idea. It's not as simple as it takes. So we should be able to understand all this idea we in. You see, because it's easy to deceive. All I have to do is to create an astral entity. No matter what we dream when we catch so my program we catch so we are this and or so no the way the man no free or I can just picture the person and send that thought to that person. Or why no that no meditation na a good dream, because the mind is a receiver and a transmitter. The person will be in a receptive mode, and you start hearing those informations because I'm getting downloads. So most of this stuff are coming from other entities, and these are most of the secrets they don't teach us. Coming from other entities, other beings, and they are sending those thoughts to you, making you think it's come from the universe somewhere. Anyway, easy to continue, and then I'll be chipping in one or two.
Yeah, thanks. To continue from the topic now, kanana nema na kano. Ebesuya bibi kakrebi, which is basically the ego, right? The idea of you identifying yourself with something rather than yourself, no? Okay, is what we term as ego. Now, the Mr. CMI can be breathing in no, is because they've identified themselves as, the ego, no? That's why they're actually learning these things, because on the higher level, no, you are never anything that you are associating yourself with in the lower world. Until if ego, no, say the identification of yourself, which is your true self, why identifying as the things that you are actually experiencing within the matrix, right? So when you begin to identify yourself, or started who you are, no, who identifying as way, America for Ghana for, what misplace your identity cry. And when you do that, no, you lose your power. And intina Oshema Crawford no among person, and I say before near person because identification no no. And when you misplace your identity now, then you misplace your power, because your power lies within who you are. If you know who you are, and nabemunya to me now unyano, and I say to me no, you can only use your power when you know who you are. But when you identify yourself with something that you are not, then you are not going to be able to basically use your power. Chrome for now. Most of them are always operating from the ego perspective. And intina beyond baby and encoson. Why? Because ego is something that is the false self. And then the mind, okay, and they use it to basically operate in this lower world. It is they claim say move to me, but then at the same time, to me to me any BPR. Why? Because ego no nekasa, the false self, and the false self doesn't have the power to do the things that they claim they can do. Now, it doesn't mean say no, because there is power in thought. There is power in the things that you believe in. But when it comes to true power, you utilizing your power now, it doesn't come from your ego, no. The power truly comes from who you truly are, which is consciousness. And when you begin to identify with data, which is the one I okay, knowing who you truly are, that the power is within you. When you begin to identify with that one now, and in the multi and your man training because the power lies within that. Okay. And one thing that I want all of us to kind of pay attention to, or to bring our awareness to, is when you are doing anything to do with this path, you have to have a reference point. And that reference point, and be outside your true self, which is the consciousness or the soul. Okay? Because Odrin said, "Oh, now, oh, yeah." And I said, Odrin said, "Why drain there, yeah?" Which is most of or more mere practices, or yeah, I say, margin. Because you don't understand who you are. Because when you understand who you are, then say you are all powerful. Even say, why dream pone, say, "Oh, now, oh, yeah." Because you control everything. But say, you misplace your identity, not yet they share something that is not truly us, and then we are operating from the ego perspective. Now, ego, you were the constructive one, okay, and you were the destructive one. And the constructive one, ego now, some of us are using right now. Okay, when you are not on this path, but we will be to say we are homaso, you can't say ma ojitum, we are from Sonia Casa ojitum, right? You are operating from a constructive ego perspective. And a destructive ego perspective, the Oma, you can't say ma any, homaso, right? Inti say we are constructive, we use the constructive ego now. Most of the time, you are bound to end up on a path like this. Why? Because ego is needed in creation. Because consciousness cannot operate fully without using the mind. I think say in Churchill, when you say, "Oh, your consciousness," and you are operating within a simulation. Within that simulation, we used to be VFN dream, right? Say adrenaline juma. Okay, there is a sense of an individuality, which is I. And that I, and a friend ego, you are operating from that I, me. Okay, into one, you are not initially that one. The I, is not you, it's the consciousness in you. So the I, and I operating in creation with the mind. Okay, so when you're operating here now, who you so adrenaline, and adrenaline, and anamika say, a bit me are operating in a constructive way and in a destructive way. It is all using in the constructive way. You cannot do away with the mind. Untimi dream free dream. And I say untimi dream free consciousness, because in the lower worlds, you have to operate with a mind. Because mind and interpret and consciousness is just consciousness. It's conscious of something. But the mind and interpret at the corner or experience, Okay, so you are definitely going to need the mind. So in a way, ego is needed in creation, but depend on which side you're operating on. But the goal here with our team, and I say the goal here as students, is to operate beyond that. And in the to know yourself. Say onye adreno, and I say onye body about body there on their muscle because they are not even operating from the mind perspective. Into because Obi are operating from the body perspective, and you'll be operating from the mind perspective, mind enabling your control body, right? So when you identify yourself with the mind, then you are operating on the ego level. Now, ego level, say to constructive, destructive. Obetimia using in a positive way, or you can use it in a negative way. Positive way, they say, uyobia unye nipa o uye nipa bonini, right? Or obi wadia or the channel, and I say obi here be albuano, right? Into you can say Christopher, you see the positive or the constructive ego, no? Why? Because you are trying to operate from a love perspective. And I'll like I say, and I say operating from a negative or destructive ego. Because on the way they are on fancho or right? right? Indeed, when you are here right now, know that you are operating as a beginner from an ego perspective. And the goal is to live beyond the ego. The goal is to go beyond the mind. Okay. And when you start operating beyond the mind, and that's where your true power lies. Sometimes, OER practices now. The reason why and your money be farmer is because it's you are still operating from the ego perspective. Ego no per se ohun bibia and sanoye. Obi ohonoma even sabi ohumia, right? Or per se ohun de home ne bayeno. Or so one te home nasia, okay, on yet because osuro onim de abatono. So most of the time, the ego operates from a fear perspective, and I say operating from knowingness. They be also nim bibi and sanoye. So when nim bibi are untiminye. Until the path now, we operate from surrender. You surrender to who you truly are, which is the consciousness. When you surrender, then you can operate from who you are, because who you are is everything. Right? Who you are is everything. You are consciousness. The consciousness within you, and in the body, okay. So when you surrender to that now, it takes over everything that you want to do. But say operating from the ego perspective, then you're always going to.
Is this you? One mute you. Check it out.
Hey, sorry, you. Imiti yache. Okay.
Abi so the back one and
Monica Kakanka and all come about ego no always wanting to know the next step before we move ahead. No, I quite to say some self-protective programming behind it. I said Tembiano opposite bomb in such a way as me who the next step I may take it. Me every exercises now, then a bit after it. Me project a car, me can I say make me a samba instead of just going with the flow, surrendering to the process and just enjoying the experience. No, we want to know each step of the way and sana yetwana mono. Sir, when sir way of thinking most of the time they hinder in progress in this part. When we learn to let go of it now and just flow with the process, surrender to the process now, it makes it a bit easier for us.
Okay. So let's try and understand where we are, where you are operating from. Because if you don't understand where you're operating from, it could be the difference between why you are progressing and why you're not progressing. All right. Some of the lessons now, if we take our time to really understand them and we operate from the consciousness perspective, you will see that things are going to be very, very easy for us. For example, maybe I trust say you are consciousness, you create your own reality. Because on Tiasia, why? The reason why on Tiasia is because they're all operating from the ego perspective. Or person who say, how do I do it? And then I'm a crime best and I'm
I think it's easier. It's let me add this. How do you create your reality? You can't say reality your reality. I did be a course who we are saying I don't know. So sorry. And one who kasa show one answer. Do you buy dreams up say I don't know, made them pay for to make fufu. But some go to fufu and then you go on and eat fufu. So it means every reality, every step we take in our life, we make it up. We are actually the one who creates it. Right? So it is a thought. You have it, and then you move towards it. In an intent, in that way, that reality, you experience that reality in your reality, or you experience that at the chrono. So without you, I think that maybe that people can understand it from this way. Easy to, if you can expand on that.
So the identification and American obi ohonoma or identify with the body this soul to the extent say he doesn't know how this reality crumple is being created. And it's because most of the time, programming, and that programming has taken root within us. Into onam hono, oka se ochina say but because you D4. Why? Because on operating from any level apart from the body. And your body for no mind the for no cry there, they can go a little bit higher by understanding say mind has power. But where that power is actually coming from, is your consciousness. So when you operate from that level now, then you can take control of mind. You can take control of the ego. Because the ego only take control of you, then a bad day to break certain limitations. You can go high, but obey dream maybe no sound to me in a typical example here, like with the projection. Okay, your projection now. Yes, I can say your breathing exercise. Your breathing exercise, maybe I know why a repetition of the words. No a repetition of the words, no. Then all of a sudden you find yourself out. But obey your breathing exercise, no. Obey repetition, but obey do or now why? Because unknowing to you, there's a program running underneath, which is being run by the ego, no. Or name what is going to happen after the repetition, no. Nti obey repetition and say why? Because beyond the repetition, no, there needs to be a surrender. There needs to be something that takes place for that projection to happen. And within you, say ego, no, is sure what is going to happen now. Okay, say ego is sure what is going to happen now. Fear of death. Say right? That's ego perspective, because death is not real. But so Uji say that means you're operating from the ego perspective, and it's a program that is running within you. It's about now repeat it. Why? Because you're operating from, but say operating from the consciousness perspective. You are everything. Okay, and then you surrender to that idea now. Then once you repeat the words, no, again, that's a programming within you. Who repeat the words, no, but when I say you find yourself where you've set your intentions of a circle. And I say, if I'm brought from crowd to where Ita was saying, creating your own reality, no, right? Also, when I say, yeah, and Opaka say, and I say, ne, chinchina chimedi fufu. But when I say, obide, a friend say, more, and I said, jollof be able to then you end up eating that. Then you say to yourself, I said, medi fufu. Why didn't you eat the fufu rather than the jollof? No? It's because you were operating from the ego perspective. Why? Because you lack awareness. And jollof never try when you have to have a remembrance. Be say, and then we can say medi fufu. Okay, jollof we need. No what no could fufu.
So it means you need to focus on your thoughts for it to manifest, right?
Correct.
Yeah, give it mental concentration and awareness, and then you're going to go through and experience that. So I think the same thing having the projection, or is it concentrate on going out of the body? If you can grab you in the body and not hey, and then they me. Right, some of us who are one of them one will be in and ready to continue.
Yeah, and what I'm saying, and yet say a BB easy to overcome. It is easy, and at the same time, it's not easy. Paradoxical, into say you can say easier. It means that once you operate from a certain level, no, okay, then you can overcome it. So one operating from that level now, then a bad then say will be to overcome it. And the level to overcome these ego stuff, I said the level to operate and control the ego, no, is to operate from the consciousness perspective, right? And that consciousness perspective, it comes with just a realization. Esa unya, I'm kind of saying, and tiasiebi wo unya santiasie no wo mu a, said something will change. And when that thing happens, unyasa realization is I am consciousness. Me bibia no is part of me. Like I created everything. And yes, all now boy you, but the two moon boy bibiano, the boy bibian, any be the two. So you are part of everything. It's anti be now unyan woman. So unyasa then it gives you power to control everything else. As a in a way, an observer. Okay, it detaches you from what is actually happening, and then you take control of what is happening, and with your intention, and I say with your thoughts, you create whatever you want to create. Right? So a step-by-step process. And that comes with the teachings near the take your time to learn the things that we actually teaching you. Men rushing. The projection is not the end goal. Projection is just one step. There's so many things to learn. But with what we are teaching you, say you are not this body. You are the consciousness, right? In church, nyamotre net nyoma na se wanti ase na se opepro nko anima ubonso bedroom maybe no backup, because you are still going to be operating from the ego perspective. And an ego, no, as I'm saying, it's not just limited to the physical body. I think that most people attribute ego to maybe akwawi or ahmaswo and akwawi we say that be ego is beyond that. You can't be waiting me projected, but still now you're operating from the ego perspective. Okay. And say who operating from the ego perspective and American bedroom maybe no better, because you can't go beyond that. Because who operating from the ego perspective, there is a limitation to it. And that limitation right? So once you get understanding from the beginners class, and I say we need to operate from the consciousness perspective. As we are consciousness, quote unquote, okay. There is nothing outside you. Everything is within you. You are everything. As Auntie Asiana, can say, your chibi, I can't mean tree and come up about and muntia CAB. That inner standing needs to take place. And when that inner standing it takes place, some of the things now, yana ita cannot the brain, no, because sometimes okasa obi ujinature okasa akwawi pa I didn't know okay. Say over just say me creating reality just by thinking. Hey, child mine, now you're saying, right? The only way I want to mean TSN is because you be operating from the ego perspective.
Yeah. I mean, by definition, as an I think the one I can thoughts is the breath of the mind. You create everything. The way you thought one, you know, even if it comes to welcome, you need to have that conscious decision that you want to do. You see, anything be a by a brabum be no sometimes we find that is there, but most of the time, so banku ene, fufu ene, TV, so it will, that thought will come into the mind, you know, when you start thinking, and then you will experience that at the thinking. So in the roots of the whole thing is the thoughts, is your thinking. Present tense of thought is thinking. Is your thinking. What do you think of? Or Sanomukano, I think as you must man thinketh, so shall he be, or whatever it was. I don't know.
As a man thinketh, so he is.
That is it. You see, and this is the fundamentality of the whole thing. You don't have to believe all stories. You need to start from, because we're in a certain simulation. The simulation is that, you use the word matrix. It is the source code of the whole thing is the mind. The mind is everything is happening. That is why we have the code says all is the mind, because that is where everything is operating from. The matrix is the matrix of the mind, not the matrix of the body, not the matrix of a Diani Audi or whatever. and your obesha crystal, obey personality, have a certain personality. That is what the spiritual idea, no, really like, because people go there to have a different personality and thinking that that personality that is not going to make them spiritual, whatever it is. You see, everything is vibration, frequency, and energy. Okay, so whenever you have a thought, when you vibrate it on, give it mental energy, it start to manifest the same way. So or whatever, in a way of giving energy and attention to is to take action. So and then prepare ready. So you did send an to make example. Also be for corner and so be the move welcome now. And a mono so corner. So you are unable to give more energy, more awareness and attention to so that fufu didn't come into reality. So that is as simple as it takes. That even with the projection, it is the thoughts and you are giving it mental energy for that thought to have energy, okay, and then it manifests, and in turn you pop out of the body, or you dream, as they call it, or you see something of your family and you do it. You see, so when we are seeing things, the eye, we are seeing from this from the mind perspective, then everything makes sense. Everything becomes to you see that. For example, okay, let's make just a simple example, like trying to create something. I want to use some simple example for this, all these ideas. If you use the chat for internet, some of them didn't have the idea of numerology and palmistry, chakra for one boss. On what win a bank win fufu no on the how on answer they have by one so on the economy. Say the chakra in you say new where people, it doesn't really depends on that. Now maybe in another part of the universe, a para universe, thousand, maybe what it is that all these ideologies or spirituality or whatever it is, or man, they are back into our phases. What if it is a thought from somebody of some group of people, a sect, and then we keep on vibrating on that, and it keep on become a reality that you need to so bury a and you can't spiritual, and people are believing in that, and it start working for them too. And some people say, "Boy, like forget about this thing. You're gonna still eat the meat. Still, we're gonna do and get spiritual growth." It start to happen. So, is there a route? Is there a concrete route? Say, you try towards a home. When the meter and as we have vegetarian kwana betting spiritual with the meter unya spiritual we say one where crystal any year. It never happened because creation is malleable, right? It can change based on your belief system, based on your thoughts. It is actually your thought that creates the reality you want to live in. So whatever you believe, say it's astrology, it is a thought, it is an idea. When obi deba into your reality and you start vibrating on that idea, you start to tune into that reality of that person, and that thing start to happen. The same way about obi say, "Oh, boss, and then they start to work, they start to believe, give that at the corner a mental energy, that thought mental energy, and that thing create a reality for them, and they start to live it. The same way if you want to manifest something. Again, and then I was talking about the law of attraction idea. There's no universe beyond a vibration. It is your thought. Okay, I want to manifest a car, whatever it is. Now, when I have that thought, all I need to do is give that thought enough mental energy, and I will experience that reality. So the idea of the law of attraction and manifestation, it is just our thoughts we are actually manifesting. And the whole idea is to give that thought enough energy. You see? So when we understand stuff from this basic idea, it is our mind. This all is coming from. This is what the basic of the whole thing. Say, and yes, the idea normal label na spiritual na way na home na. You see, everything is coming from here. So the first step is for us to understand it, understand the ego, understand the surrender, how to surrender. Now, the opposite of ego is surrender. Okay, so if we could picture the mind as a computer, okay, which is running off course. Okay, mom, you're programming for no your computer and all this sort of stuff. It's more like, and then the day I'm church, like your true power is lying behind the ego, or the ego no unwrap your true power. Okay, and the code, okay, which can penetrate or hack the ego to get into your true power is to surrender. And what is surrendering? Again, because again, we need to understand that every word beyond the mind is basically like a computer. So the word surrender in and itself, it is a program within it. It is a build-up program stuck together to build a surrender. The ego too, so some of us, the ego, we develop it from our childhood, from our neighbor, from our life, and different places. And so the ego itself also is a program stuck within itself. The same thing as fear. It's not something where we say it's a program, because that fear itself is a mini programs and I stack it together. For example, obisho your progress always will piano. And that's also because of so be pure. And something deeper within a program within the fear, which is death, basically. Or kono baby man who that is basically the program. So fear, say you are in this context, it's just the fear of death. So if the person can get the knowledge about what death is, so sometimes I equate fear is just a lack of knowledge, because it's something deep programmed running within your subconscious mind that you've not been able to overcome. So because if you know your consciousness, you never die. If you understand the projection, you go out, you can come back. If you understand the process that when you are getting out, it's the sensation into that you get into the sleep paralysis, your chemicals being released here. Then there's no element of fear, because the programs of the program that are built, fear is being terminated. So there's no fear. So we need to understand that all this sort of the mind stuff, it's more like a programs. And the man be now stuck into it. So if you want to face or fear, we don't face the fear like said the only. You sit down what you fear, you break down, you analyze, so that you can get all the codes, the programs now are stuck together to produce the fear, and you deal with those programs. You learn the knowledge of it, and then from them, then you can overcome the fear. Now, the ego to is that. The surrender to is that. Because where do we surrender something? If you want to surrender, in surrender, we have trust within surrender. You see, in surrender, this is with Abika Homami.
So when you are surrendering, there's an element of knowingness, or there's an element of trust beyond your fear, And last time I was actually doing I think contemplation, where I got more understanding on where that fear comes from, and why people cannot surrender is because they don't have trust with themselves. I say who they are. So when they are doing their practices, it cuts them off, because they don't know what lies beyond what they are trying to do. Okay, they don't know, and most of the time, they don't trust themselves. When they go beyond that, then they are going to come back. So
they don't even trust the process. The process now, they don't even trust the person. They don't even trust, because change be Google Como and and your body is someone can't be about also you when you need the end would be all come. So on the surrender, there is many programs within it. And we could say surrender because okay, I've surrendered, but many program you've not really overcome, you've not even identify okay, and accept all the programs within the word surrender. Because when you surrender, you give your all in. You trust the process. You trust that it's going to happen. So even in surrender, there's also a knowledge that need to be shared for you to understand what you are getting yourself into and what it's all about. You see? So when you can overcome all these programs, then that program so now you're stacking it together to hack the ego. Because when you ask Dr. Strange Mamine, surrender your ego and your power will rise. So we are using the surrender. No, it's a program. We are using it to defeat. So all this ego, the surrender, no, it is a program. It is a program. Okay, within the mind. Okay, the mind is more like a computer. It's a program within the mind. So the ego have its place. The surrender have its place. These are all programmed within it. These are all programmed within the mind, that the consciousness, as we should learn how to use all these codes or all these programs in our benefit wherever we are. So if you want to do whatever in a psychic or know your power or yourself, then okay, if I want to do it, then I have to switch. I have to run this code. I have to run this program, which is the program of surrendering. It's as simple as it takes. And the idea will be I had to say American. I had to say PC or BB. So you say a way now here. Now they are here. It is in this case. If you want to do any psychic now, anytime piano or power no, you gonna act crowd them. So how are you gonna do it? Okay, fine. Okay, I want to do projection. I want to read. Okay, fine. Then if you want to read, this is the process. You surrender the ego. How do we surrender? Sorry, you silence the ego. How do you silence it? You use the program called surrender. And that program, is Sanamika. That program is built from different codes. So that code means you overcome it, you understand it. And you use that surrender program to hack the ego to get to the mind, and then your power will rise. And sometimes you'll get into the mind now. You can even go beyond the mind and get to the consciousness. And then poof.
Please, can I make a suggestion? Sorry to come in.
Okay.
Okay, so all that I wanted to add is that this issue of surrender is affecting a lot of people on the platform, both the beginners, the intermediate. Because when you don't learn to surrender and you hold back, then as much as you try, you never have any experience, meaningful experience on this path. And the most critical aspect of this surrender issue is our cultural beliefs and the belief systems that has been programmed. It's part of the codes Ita is talking about. It holds us back so much that we are not able to surrender, especially the belief systems in the religious circles. It's so much embedded in us that when it's time for us to even have an experience, it prevents us from surrendering. And all these thoughts begin to come in. Is it right? Is it evil? Is it occultic? Is this? Is this religious? All these thoughts comes into your mindset and they prevent you to surrender. So once you see any different thing from the usual programming that has been embedded in you from your infancy, it becomes a different thing altogether for you. And then you begin to panic. You begin to shake. You are not able to give all. Then you cannot surrender. When you don't surrender, then you cannot go beyond the physical because it is holding you back. It is the one that is creating your ego. You see, so most of us here are having the issues of these belief systems, cultural systems, something we've learned that is a bit different from what we are learning now. And we are applying all these sort of codes here, which is preventing us from having experience, preventing us from giving our all out. Why don't you say, okay, whatever, let me try, let me have an experience. Whatever comes, whatever comes. If you don't understand the real basis of what you are doing, you always keep on holding back and you will never have any experience. Why? That's it.
Okay, that is a very nice insight. And one other part of the programming is perception. No one is adding or say yeah. Although you catch them say, oh, one do no one is and then they say, oh, nyan say yeah. or no kind of limiting belief of people who've been talking, oh, say now outside in here, oh, say it's wabana ye cano. Still now until you the waiting that I know still now having that was I don't know why, but the waiting that I know you catch an across still now that code is running. Do be catching no and I'll be you say and I say and one who also you say in one a project in here can say this is in thoughts is have an intelligence to a degree when you start to give it an energy. You see, so when that thought start to have that intelligence, it will work most of the time on its own accord. How? Because it's gonna work in accordance to your subconscious mind. Because your thought is an externalization of yourself, right? And when you say, I want to get out of my body, it is a thought you are getting, you are just empowering that thought for that thought to have an energy. Sometimes the thought can even have a form on the astral world. Hence, we have thought forms. You see, so just don't have any perception. Say, oh, say also the NEC, say also the NEC, say the enemy. So when these are all part of not being able to surrender, because you are actually given a description of what you already know based on your program, based on what you've learned, that this is only way it is supposed to be. So you are not surrendering to the process, to even your own thoughts of how it should work for you. So all you need to do, whatever comes, because nothing is really going to happen anyway. It is just surrender. Or yes, use the word, be submissive. Bosu, yanyani yanko yene. Bibi baby are fine. Abigail, do you want to add something?
Okay, perceptions and amamaka expectations. One say, you move baby attitude descriptions are horror about it. Whom we are sending a course or honing a mangamantino. Baby, our built up fantasies and built up ideas. More expected. And you know, all about that why and I just say, oh, was I in one itching into your computer because I said, where the young sour and I just say, my drink a cash, you see. Then they start doubting themselves, start questioning themselves. Now, for logical mind, not setting in, analyzing Emma breaking Emma down, mom, no, my more confused, you know, carrying expectations into it, you know, also hinders the surrendering process.
Expectation, kill baby.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, but all person chair is boss say no say what direction. See, I'm also so in a different way. I'm also boss changing that when you say the away. I thought to look at the papa, or not because I'm going with it ready.
No, cause when you're ready,
that is it. Most of the time, that it happens. So we want you to understand this. That especially the ego and the thought stuff. Your Bible said thought in the it is a who say again. What's that I read if you had and I said remember that it is your thoughts you have, no, and the belief you have that is gonna happen. No? Is that thought manifesting the reality? And then say you will question that into question that you're fasting or whatever mokano oh ubenyesika oh nyoma bekoye. Is it okay? I think we need to do an experiment. Maybe also can say we consider the animals will be out sikabeba. And as you so be I don't know, Ubenya, I don't know, Ubenya good day or something. I think maybe we should have created that idea and let people believe so or vibrate and give more energy to that idea. Because hey, minimum sooner, hey, and then you know, you may be think I'm doing something. I'm not doing anything. I've just made you manifest your own reality, your own thoughts, or I have created a thought. And I've made you vibrate, give enough energy for the thoughts. And then you have also experiencing that reality, that program now, the thought is supposed to do. So, and this thing also, it did come from Gaia. And Gaia was saying, for even the Habai, we were just trying to learn about, Gaia, please give us a Habai we can use to project. Give us a Habai. And what she was saying is that, you don't have to request for any Habai or whatever. You can take anything, maybe I'll infuse your thoughts on it, infuse your intention that if you had the talo mama so that it's gonna help you to project and give it that thought enough energy. And then some of members have been using it like I think I could cry there. Or you see one, he just connected with the plant and the plant having the he didn't even take it or the intention to connect. That is all. Thoughts. That is the whole tricks. So when you know these tricks now, then your reality changes. You see all these concepts, philosophies about the philosophy in your all these philosophies, all these ideas people now you see, and I wait, and now you see, and I wait, and I wait, and I wait, and I'm this ideology, no, I'm not training in spirituality, no, about the good so, and I wouldn't name Musa, and I wouldn't name so, you are just operating based on people's thoughts. I think the Institute can say people are just working ideas ideas of people. So when you understand this is the basic of harnessing your true power. Then you know that your reality is in your hands. Either projection, psychic, your work, a Jumasem, every program. You can just change it. Because you know what actually shapes it. So when you have a situation, you don't want that situation to happen. How do you solve the situation? You bring the thought you want to manifest. I don't want this situation to be anymore. You give that thought enough energy. Vibrate or not. Even when baby, whatever, interview, whatever, you want to have a confidence. You want at the corner, yeah, whatever it is. That just okay, usually my speech and I will maybe and I will whatever it is. Okay, hold on that thought, vibrate on that thought. Whilst you are going, hold on that thought in your mind's eye. The more you give it mental energy and emotional energy to it too, it start to magnify. It start to have momentum, and then it will start to manifest. And conform you silence them. If whatever the situation is. So when we come to understand who we are, we start to learn how to control our own reality. And we want you also to understand the ego. That to be able to do this in a deeper level, you need to silence it, understand what it is, understand surrender, understand the mind, because everything is within that. And when you have this and that, then you can do so marvelous. Then you walk rabbit man, obi kra bibi, obi yale hair, fine show way. So just look at it in your mind, or just hold an intention, just ensure or no more indefinitely, or no more the person is gonna be healed, or no, it's gonna happen. It is a man from whom is a man paying Daniel Manio. It's not a more to me being a one you. It's because of they've been able to harness that power within them. That is it. So the other time, I'm a madam for be no way or so for. I could know a TikTok live. I'm a friend. Also, me was there. Kotoko Kubako. I feel bumpy goes to no ever. You are going to do your Eka Crown. Hey, also, hey, you go, hey, Pipiako, or somebody else say, I also fanchene for Gunsu. No, my boko, neko. So you believe the idea now, fanchene, the same thing, a fanchene jolly, and a fanchene, yes, fanchene, whatever it is. And I was glad that we did get confirmation from Gaia. Sir, if, or as I say, those who don't know, if you want to do this, just infuse your thought in whatever it is, and it will start to work. Family gunsu nefedwale ne no be ma ho ante ana be attract money or whatever, and I find ebi say famu nyina gunsu famu dware famu su dware whatever. Whatever it is. Why? Because that person has made you able to believe. And again, vibrate, give enough mental and emotional. Belief is an emotional energy. Give that at the corner more energy for that at the corner to manifest. So which means when you want to read about somebody, hold the thought or hold the thinking. I want to know about this person. Just hold the thought, silence the ego. Know that every information you're going to get is coming from your own self, your own subconscious mind, your own soul is getting the information from. We want to see where somebody is. You see, so when you are doing this now, you need to align and learn about the ego too. That if you don't understand it, then the ego will be clouded, because in the level of who you actually are, you are what it is. So you don't have to have doubts, because what you say is going to come existence. So the more you have doubt is a vibration. Just know it is going to work. And it's going to work. The only difference is that when we have doubts, and the doubt to you is part of the ego. Because doubt is a program. Again, what is within the doubt? It may be you think you are not self-worthy. You think the process is not going to work. How is the process going to work? Hey, who are you to even do this? You've not done anything. You're not a reflective or bonibi. So it is not talking. It is the ego. So doubt itself is also the ego speaking. Based on your programs, be about yourself, about who you think you are. Attitude was saying the I. Right? So even the doubt itself is an ego. So silencing your ego, silencing your doubts is also the silencing your ego. Okay. Institute, Abigail, Ike, Maud, Ama, Anado Mako. No, I did be
I don't know.
Hey, Ama, I can't
Yeah, it's a.
Yeah, no.
I am say, wait there. Tell me how many assembly because Nana was someone.
Uh-huh.
On say, your teacher for not say I did especially so we identify who with the I. Immediately I'll be identifying with I'm this. And I'm media example, Kaka meeting yam and say, especially Oma, Omen astrology, Sunny Adina, media me, juvenile, and your friends, me, June born, and I'm media me, one
Capricorn
and
Yes.
I'm me,
Scorpio,
Scorpio,
Aquarius.
me, and Neo, now all those stuff with some stuff. Now what Diatum, send me the saying I'm a Tiano. You identify yourself with I am or I. Until at the end of the day, you're going to start seeing those things manifesting. That's sound or mocha. The teacher for ne can it's all be identify who with BB. A basapa not to the ego no, I take it in charge. The extreme moon contemplative or information ya bang. Yenina and no much radio pine never contemplating on it. They have face it. Yes, be a yeah, I can say you a teacher. And at almost Casatre say ya. And a yenina, young word you money, yenina, you come when they are speaking like that, they are connected to the universal mind and the near money drop is and almost day back. And yenina, now most of us may be grand, young call the brown macano, ya sending soon, and near my ita, I can't any your friends institute, nay, teacher. Almost killing you know, your sentence, you realize yet nothing you contemplate. And yet, the idea and word man, yes, wow. It's not only for beginners and quiet, you know, you bear a word man. Mummy are taking it very, 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 very serious because I am taking it serious. I know the bit me, ama will be house who see a beer, the house who ye piano, and with Yaga.
Yeah. And another. Yeah, I mean, I do it, Mr. Why? Let me add this not to answer. And mostly, people can use the ego to reprogram people. Okay. For example, especially on more TV, so mostly on your interview. And so then there are too many ways to teach. They are teaching people to be on your level, on learn together, and also they are the way of teaching and lifting yourself. Okay, so you are teaching others to actually lift yourself. But but the program within the teaching is you are lifting yourself to in a higher position than, right? So for example, first you say I heard TV for spiritual awareness, I mean you say right? And then or because me na home and I me say and I me this and obi nim be kasaye and I'm a this, I'm a that. So in that program, it so it kind of program you, who the listener, to make you think or make you believe, have the idea that this person is powerful. Hey, what do you senior Mayo, right? So you could see most of the people, and I am you can just identify it quickly when you're just listening. When the I is so much, and I'm here this, and I'm in me away, and I'm me way, and I'm here way, I am here way. That is an ego. You see, you are identifying, you are trying to make it's kind of you trying to make people, or you are trying to say it so that people will believe you because you are that. It is the I, and here can once the I. This, I am this. So I'm a TV. And I'm way. Oh, I'm part of this. Oh, me away. Oh, and you say, and I home number you say, and you say. So it is me. You see, that is the I too. Okay, so you should be able to identify those egos because you don't have to say you are this. And it knows it, or it doesn't have to. You see, and that one too, some of us should be able to take part of, and be able to see and be able to identify. And in your life, in your situation, so and then teachers, you should be able to recognize it. And I'm because Black Americans for teachings a woman mostly, and I'm here, and I'm part of the head. I'm God, the God and Goddess, the this and that, and why it never yield fruits because you are just, I don't know, advertising yourself to make people believe in you or what. You see, but the role senior man for now or more yet in the highest na campus. Babu who's our way be say almost do no mind the society. 13 for one that, right? But anyway, I was just adding it up.
And it can to Omankasa omu diagro na nkasa no. Said the empenisi uncle who did those who are really working, who said them who are din silence, no more satire, no more bopia, no more bopia. And the who were out na ye just entertainment ni agro. Ye can't grow na ni jina kwanya we so atu. Yeah, what platform is so for? Aha, ye one. We don't do anything like politics or nothing. Meaning say next week, I have put on Amdema, especially Ghana. Next week, you are to Aba. So, feel some person connect to the coffee and could now could moon a game. I have grown my dream on the Diagros and a game. Men go found Shemin and deep in and busy and well, deep in a new voice. Oban one will be the Bible question. Nada, Obia Mesho. And say, I've grown no mood in it. Unnecessary game. If you feel like you don't want to do it, stay home. If you want to go do it and then go home. Men kwaje moso. Yembese ebeti ni ye chire say ye team we anase ye group ya ye way obi akoye bibi akoye no ni ade na afi na yesremo. Even though it's not part of this whole thing, but me the shame na mo say it's not necessary. It has nothing to do with you as a soul, as a conscious being. Just take this agro. If you don't want to play, leave it alone. Men and when you make a chat to so you deal with it. Kakra mekan a teacher for now can
the healing, what about healing now?
Now they are playing after the Wabos and Waplay, healing will be the Bible question. I mean, Arena, Obiti, and you might be to me. Because people who are doing this, why do you find Obisus? Why do you find and then you do come up? Okay, oneness, no while, Utrate. May I say?
Okay, is it? And this is an episode.
Oh, my canina. So,
it was where I'm happy to start.
Oh, yeah.
Madam Samri, Monsieur Madam Samri.
Peter.
Yeah, I think we've said a lot today, but and the
I'm
kind chat.
not more the talk, sir.
Okay, more Kasa.
Yeah, me pacho bibi ketewa bi na mepɛ sɛ mede ka ho. Nti mekae sɛ Ike kasa no wɔka biribi sɛ yɛ belief systems ne yɛ nneɛma no bi nso ha yɛn paa na ama yɛ ego no ɛteatea a on projection side ne yɛntumi nkɔ, especially yɛn a yɛsusu a na yɛde ato yɛ tirim sɛ wodaeɛ a saman bi ba abɛpagya wakɔ anaa honhom bi ba abɛpagya wakɔ. Sɛ wobɛhwɛ a sɛ saa ade no nya bɛhyɛ wo tirim a wonya da hɔ sɛ wɔbɛyɛ a na ade no wɔbɛkɔ apɛ na sɛ ɛyɛ wo sɛ yɛde wokɔ wobɛhu nso w'ani ate. Nti mpatwɔ yɛ a yɛwɔ platform so yɛnyɛ very careful saa adeɛ no na yɛnyɛ ho adwuma because anyɛ saa ɛna wonkɔ da. Wobɛka baabi a kɔ a da biara woyɛ na abɛkɔpa sɛ yɛde wokɔ. Nti wo yam bɛhyew na woasa aba back. Nti yɛnhwɛ ne yie ɛwɔ hɔ. Kakra na mede ka ho no.
Okay. Some de kakra besoso. If I'm allowed. But you meet my casa.
Oh, I
Oh,
can
but
say. Oh, I can question I would say.
Okay. So the issue of I want to describe it in two forms. Very short. Your I now, when you begin to have the abilities and everything, and then your ego comes in, I can do this. I can read people. I have the ability to project. I am okay. I don't need ITA. I don't need institute. I can do everything. Then you go as high as you can, but you drop. So that is one. You say I'm about you can say no. You begin say you be thinking say you're a beginner. So this will not affect you. But as you begin to have the experiences and the abilities to cause the wind to change, if you don't take care, the issue of I, that self-ego of I will disturb you and destroy you completely. It will destroy you. The other part of the I that I want to talk about is the I that you are saying that I cannot do this, I cannot do that. People are having experience more than me. Maybe I'm not meant for this. I've been I've been having experiences with other people who are always complaining and looking down on themselves. Well, yeah, when they hear people sharing their experiences and they are not getting it, they begin to say, I cannot do this. I'm not meant for this. I don't have the zeal. I don't have the abilities. So these two eyes, one is the ego self, one is the other one that will bring you down, and one that will discourage you. This path is not a race. Get the basis. When you get the basis, well, everything you can build on. You can design everything that you want to do. But if you don't have the basis, that's where you try to compare yourself to other people. But I believe so be at say.
Yeah. I think that it makes sense. Thank you very much. So the American chat one, let's be careful what we listen, what we watch, and who we interact with. Okay, because all these things, it kind of give us some programming within us. And to say the night thoughts, okay, creates your reality. Now, who interacted? So if you listen so many places, OTT and Crofo, TT and Yoma, Ocean Yoma Bibri, who here, now who interact with people who here, and Fanfa Sobia Mawa. What these things are doing to you, is they are programming you. And when they program you now, these are the kind of programs that generate the thoughts now about them now create your reality now open. Okay. So that's why I think in the beginners, we always say be careful who you listen to, where and your mouth and then the things you do. Because these things will program you, whether you are aware of it or you are not. That's what it's doing. Now, say program we are, then honoma na abesi trim. So you are self-generating these thoughts now. You're not actually consciously creating it. You are unconsciously creating these thoughts. Inti nyoma na wafamuno. Honoma na abesi trim. Ne dem nyafufu amedio. Untimi hu baby as I free by. Right? And then it creates a reality for you. oh Honoma now we have a suitor, unim baby a free buy, then it creates a reality for you. So my last words now is to encourage us to be careful what we listen to, who we listen to, and the things we do or people we interact with, because all these things affect us whether we are aware or we are not aware. Okay. Okay.
Okay. And yeah, Madam Summary. Madam Summary, a word to a wise is enough. And you know what?
Yeah, so I think that by now, Mama going to the basic of the and say because there's 2 things we need to do as understanding the mind, know how to operate the mind to bend and create your own reality, and also being able to have access to the inner realms and inner dimensions. So I'm asking we are not gonna give you the story mode, and we say, and our theories, and our philosophies, and no, it doesn't yield any results. More, when we are doing this, we are doing that, we are doing this thing so that it is gonna better our life. Okay, to improve ourselves, to help others, and also to help ourselves too. You see, so you go straight into the point, make you understand where it all comes from, the basic, the root of the whole thing, and then when you get it, you start to create your own reality. Now, in creating your own reality in a way, you're better expanding much on and things you can do, right? You can create your reality at whatsoever. Your reality, whatsoever things you want to manifest. You want to be rich or poor, whatever. If that is you want to be poor, that is fine. Okay. So there are many ways we are gonna get ourselves into and things we are gonna get ourselves into in a deeper level. In some cases, this is just the fundamentals. And we want you to understand and work towards it. And when you have the fundamentals, right down, then I did a building on top piano is gonna be much easier. You see, so this is just the level of the game, just a beginning. Okay, you don't want to give you a chakra and a way now, why now you see now all this sort of bunch of ideas. We are attacking the whole issue from a whole new dimensional perspective. And when we get this perspective now, then we are going to understand, and that is where our true power is going to lie, and we are going to manifest. And yes, governments, whatever it is, right? And then we can change, we can heal others, we can help others, we can improve ourselves, get into higher state of consciousness, learn how to access the inner worlds, inner planes, learn how to heal others, help others, in whatever they need, either, helping, you see. So there's a whole lot built upon, and it doesn't reach only on this physical about embodying ourselves and helping ourselves, and it's also extend on the planets and galactical level, on a universal level. So the goal is very, very bigger, and it starts from now. And what we are saying now, reality doesn't have to be harsh. Reality doesn't have to be very, very difficult. It is a lack of understanding that we don't have about how to play the game, how to deal with this matrix, how to play with this simulation. That has lead us into all what is happening right now. Okay, so we are closing. Today we didn't take questions and answers. Please, and then we are gonna continue tomorrow. So goodbye, everybody. Have a great day and have a great night. Okay.
All right. I was there for you. Bye.